Okay, so we're going to make some roasted root vegetables, and this is great for fall and winter, but it's also an added bonus because these type of vegetables are pretty much available all year round, and the other nice thing about it is that they're very inexpensive. So a lot of times people just kind of overlook this, or they think they may not like it. It's just not really popular, but give it a try. They're full of nutrients, they're really healthy for you, and you can find them, like I said, really, really easily. So, as far as root vegetables go, these are turnips. I'm going to show you what it looks like and how to cut it up. But things like beets, rutabagas, parsnips, celery root, that sort of thing. I have a mixture of some different things here. And you don't have to use all of them. You can use whatever you have on hand, whatever you can find at the grocery store that looks good and that is fresh. Okay, so this is a turnip, and they usually come like this. You can see it's kind of purplish. This one I've peeled already, and I'm going to chop it up. But what you want to do is just cut off the ends, and then I'm going to give it a quick peel. Just keep a bowl or a plate handy. That way you don't have to keep running back and forth to the garbage can or to the sink. You can just put it all in there and dump it at once. I'm just going to get this peeled up. And this is something that you would see a lot of times with a roast. Fancy restaurants a lot of times will have roasted root vegetables. They really, when they cook, have a little bit of sweetness to them. You could also, when we get into how we do this here, put some honey, mix some honey with it while you're cooking it. That gives it a little extra sweetness. There's a lot of different things you can do with it, but it turns out to be a pretty fancy dish, something unusual, something you don't have every day. So I'm just going to give this a quick chop, see if this knife works better. And I'm just going to cut this into chunks. Now you want, as much as possible, you want everything to be somewhat the same size as you're cooking. I'm just going to throw it right onto the roasting pan here. So I have two of these. You can use whichever ones you like better. You can use more of. You can use less of one, more of the other. Depends on, my family all likes different things, so I kind of mix it up and we can all pick out what we like the best. Ideally you want to eat it all though. Okay. So it takes a little time to chop these up, but really it's somewhat relaxing for me. I don't know, I can have the kids running around and you may hear them in the background here. They're upstairs, but I can have, things going on around me, and just sitting here chopping and making all these things into, taking it from that into nice uniform little chunks is somewhat relaxing. Okay, so the next thing I have here is a sweet potato. And these are kind of difficult to cut. You want to be careful when you're cutting these because they're very firm and you don't want to cut yourself. Okay. So again, I just go into the refrigerator or the pantry, pull out everything I need, put it in a bowl, come over, chop it all up. It really doesn't take a lot of time. You could be catching up on your news in the background, talking with the kids about their day, helping with homework. And the nice thing too is, especially if you have children around, to have them watch you cooking and preparing things. I know when I grew up, my mom cooked just about every night. And it's just something that sticks in your mind, and it's one of those comforting things that reminds you of family. So use the opportunity to get them involved or show them what you're doing. Ask them if they know what these vegetables are. We, when we knew we were making lots of changes and having them eat more vegetables and things, I would take them to the farmer's market and have them each pick out one vegetable that they wanted to try. And there's lots of exotic things that you haven't seen before. So this is one thing that I remember my little one picked when he was 3. It's a purple potato. This is an organic version. And I'll just show you real quick what it looks like. It's actually purple all the way through. It tastes like a regular potato, but it's just absolutely beautiful and different. So this is something that the kids can put on their plate and eat up. It's very vibrant in color. And so that's a fun one. Those are pretty readily available. If you have a health food store, you should be able to find these. I pretty much see them every time I go. So you could use regular potatoes if you don't have the purple potatoes. It's just something fun to put in there. And it looks almost like a beet. Now, you could also cut up some beets to put in here. Some rutabagas, which I don't have today. And parsnips, which I don't have. So Just putting all of these onto a dish. My kids like these potatoes, so you can see I'm putting a little bit more of them in here. Okay, now I have carrots, of course, and I just do these in kind of chunks, and I'm cutting them at a diagonal, so it just makes them kind of chunky, so they match the rest of the vegetables. Put my little scraps in here. Okay. Now you can eat these when they come out of the oven. You can eat them hot or even cold. They're great. My oven's preheating there. You heard it beep. I have the oven preheating for 400 degrees, and they're going to cook for almost an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So this is something you want to put in and then go do other things or prepare the rest of your meal. Okay, got those. Now I'm going to put in a half of an onion, I think, and I'm just going to do these in big chunks. You can put however much you want of any of these vegetables. Okay, so I've got all that. Oops, I lost one there. Okay, and I'm also going to show you really quickly. We're not going to put these in yet. These are whole cloves, and you'll want to put them in after it's been cooking for about a half an hour. So you can see these are just whole cloves, and you could use as much of this as you want. You could use a whole bulb of garlic, or you can use a couple. I have a couple here, but I just want to show you when you have the garlic, the quickest way to peel it, you don't want to do it too hard, but take a big knife and just put it on the side and give it a little tap, and that way it loosens up that outer covering, and you can just dig out your garlic. And then it'll be ready to go into the pan. So you can start cleaning up your kitchen. You don't have to have a lot of things out. You just put that there. And again, we're going to add this about a half an hour into it. Okay, so I've got all my root vegetables here. I'm just going to pour a little bit of olive oil over them, just to coat them, and some salt. Again, at this step, you could add some honey even and some balsamic vinegar. Today what I'm going to do, when this comes out of the oven, I'm going to add some balsamic at the end. I think it tastes a little better doing it that way. So just using my fingers, I'm going to coat all of this up. And you can salt it to taste. You don't have to use the salt at all. Okay. Looks beautiful already. Okay. So I have my oven ready to go. I'm going to put these right in and set the timer for 45 minutes. We'll check it. You just want to make sure that they're nice and cooked through. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. My root vegetables are ready to come out of the oven. They've been in there for about 45 minutes. And I forgot to mention too that you are going to want to stir them up about every 10 to 15 minutes or so, just so that they get brown on all sides. So I'm going to put this into a bowl so I can show you how beautiful they look. You can see they're all nicely cooked and golden. You don't want to cook them too much because some of the sweet potatoes especially will start to fall apart. So I'm just going to put these into the bowl. And I actually, about halfway through, put those cloves of garlic in. They take a little bit less to cook, and you can eat those whole. And when garlic is cooked and roasted like that, it gets almost a sweet flavor. So it's not really, really strong, pungent garlic flavor. It gets kind of a sweet flavor to it. Okay, so now is where you could add some additional salt or pepper if you wanted to. Also very good on it is balsamic vinegar. You can just drizzle that on. Now, I mentioned that you can eat this hot. You can also let it cool down and eat it cold. You could even put it on some greens for a salad. I'm also going to add here, I ran outside really quickly to my little herb garden, and I have some fresh rosemary here. I've washed it and I'm just pulling it off of the sprig here. And I have some fresh thyme. Now you could use, whatever you have in your herb garden, or if you wanted to buy it from the grocery store, or you could even use dried, or honestly you don't have to use it at all. This is just how I like to have it. Now, this is very good with a roast or some kind of meat. You can eat it by itself as a vegetarian dish, but it's just wonderful. You can see how beautiful it looks. So give it a try. The parsnips, I was trying to describe what they taste like if you hadn't had one before, but they're very mild, and with all of these things mixed together, it's a really good taste. So give it a try. Great for fall and winter. The vegetables are easy to find and very inexpensive. So give this one a try.